Hey there, welcome to Wildly Domestic. Um, Today I'd like to share with you an experience I had over the weekend. I decided to go and have a session in a flotation tank, otherwise known as a sensory deprivation tank or an isolation. I've been reading a lot about it and hearing things in different podcasts, and it had piqued my interest. So, what an isolation tank is basically it's kind of this almost about the size of a walk-in closet, and you go in and you close the door behind you, and there's about 8 to 12 inches of water on the floor of the chamber, and it's got about 800 to 1,000 pounds of Epsom salts in it. And what that does is it makes you very buoyant. It also helps to keep the environment sterile, kind of like the Dead Sea. So no matter what you do, you're not going to sink. You know, you're always going to kind of pop back up. So you're basically floating in the tank I experienced was it was manufactured by a company called Float Labs, which is really top of the line. I'll include a link to some more information on that company in the notes below. And the dimensions are about, it felt like it was about 6 feet wide, like as far as like what I could reach when I stretched my arms directly out from my sides. 9 feet long, so from like head to toe length. And then as far as the height, I didn't actually stand up, but it seemed to be between probably around 6.5 feet high. So it's completely dark in there. You close the door. It blocks out all light and all sound. I also was wearing little silicone earplugs as well, but that was more just to keep the salt out of my ears than to further block out any sound. Because, like I said, the tank completely blocks out any sort of sound that would be coming in anyway. I went in really not knowing what to expect. You read a lot of different accounts of people's experiences with flotation tanks, and it could be anything from, having crazy psychedelic visions and out-of-body astral traveling experiences to, just a relaxing time, to working through whatever issues that they're focusing on at the moment, like with work or creative issues or family issues or whatever. So for me, I want to tell you what happened. I I went on Saturday, and I go and I get into the tank. And the funny thing is, as immediately as I close the door, and I'm still sitting up in the bottom of the tank, immediately as I close the door, I got a sense of disorientation because once the lights are out and the sound is out, you have no frame of reference. So, like, whereas normally if you're sitting up, that you've got something to let you know how your body is positioned. In the tank, there's nothing. So it's just completely dark. You're starting to float. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything. So I did get a little bit disoriented right off the bat. But once I laid back down and into a prone position and was just floating on my back, that quickly went away. Um, One of the first things that happened was the woman who had showed me into the room where the flotation tank was, she was explaining to me that before you get in, you have to shower off because that way any sort of shampoos or oils on your body or soaps or lotions are rinsed off before you get into the tank. So she said you have to shower off and then go in your birthday suit. And for some reason, I started thinking about that, what she had said, and just the phrase birthday suit, and I don't know why, but it just got me giggling. So I started giggling, and I couldn't stop over just the silly little term birthday suit. So I was laughing about that, and then the laughing turned to crying. I mean, it wasn't really sobbing crying, but it was just kind of like that, laughing into crying. And I think that might have been a product of kind of like the nervous energy that I had, so it just kind of like burning itself off. Um, I noticed that I spent a lot of time focusing on releasing tension throughout my body, like muscular tension. So I would, as I was floating there, I would feel a point, like a point of tension, rise up in my back or my neck or my arms or my shoulders, and I would just sort of work on relaxing into that and moving into a position where things became more relaxed and more comfortable. And while I was doing that, lots of interesting thoughts would pop up, um, such as the thought that I should probably be working with nature more, working with animals. I don't know if that meant real animals or spirit animals, but I'm sure that you know it'll click eventually. But um, some interesting mental images. Like I said, I didn't have any sort of hallucinations or anything like that, but just kind of like the mental images you get kind of when you're thinking about something. Mental images of a snowy owl. Um, yeah. But anyway, as I was kind of moving my body and letting the tension points go, and I noticed that some of my chakras were particularly my heart chakra was very intensely vibrating. It just felt like it had a lot of energy coming from there. For those of you that don't know, chakras are energy centers in the body. There are 7 of them. First is the root chakra, which is down in your coccyx perineal area. Second is the sacral chakra, which is in your belly, in your sacrum. Third is the solar plexus, which is right where your diaphragm would be. Fourth is your heart chakra, which is right in the middle of your chest. Fifth is your throat chakra, right here. Sixth is the third eye, right in your forehead between your eyes. And seventh is your crown chakra on top of your head. So I felt a lot of vibration in my heart chakra area. So I just kind of decided to kind of focus on just letting that go and letting it be. So I was sort of breathing into it and letting and trying to let the energy flow through instead of just feel so thickly concentrated in one spot. And it was kind of interesting because while I was doing that, I got the idea that in order to let things go, you first have to accept them. And funny enough, that silly little thing has ended up becoming a recurring theme over the past couple of days, and was actually turned out to be a much better piece of advice than I thought it would be at the time. But yeah, so once I kind of accepted that, okay, this is the feeling that I have right now. I accept that. I accept that this is the way my body is feeling. I'm just gonna let it go. And then once I accepted it first and then let it go, it was so much easier to release the physical tension points in my back and neck, and also the intense vibrating feelings as well, and have it feel more like a smooth flow instead of just like me. So so yeah, and then I was thinking about different things while I was in there, such as there's a book I'm reading on plant spirit healing, which is very interesting. I'll talk about that more later in another video. But as soon as I thought about that, I just felt the heart area just blossom open, and I got some mental images of different plants and different flowers and things like that. And so I felt like that was really kind of a cue for me that this what I'm studying in that book is good for me. It's helpful for me personally. Um, and I also had some experience with my solar plexus chakra also feeling not as intensely vibratory as the heart chakra, but still, there was definitely tension around that area that I felt that I needed to, accept and let go. And so I did, and that kind of brought up some issues that I had about uh, feeling personal power and not feeling like I had choice in certain life decisions and things like that. But being able to accept that, I realized, I always do have a choice, and I always have more power than I think I do. And when you are active in the choosing process, when you're when you take an active role in your life, you're taking your power and you're claiming your power. And also, that brought me joy. And so at this point, speaking of joy, at this point, my body was feeling pretty good, pretty relaxed, and I decided to start moving around and seeing how that felt. So I would tilt my head to the left and to the right, and I was experimenting with moving my body in different ways, and it felt really fun. Like I felt like I was like a kid doing cartwheels, or like I was like tumbling through space in zero G, and like it was just like super super like a really joyous, playful experience. So I was kind of like having fun with that, and it was just like, and I just started like giggling and laughing, and just huge smile on my face because it was really fun to just feel that sense of total physical freedom. Like there was there was nothing weighing you down. It was just complete joy. And so I mean, if for that alone, I would recommend a flotation tank experience for other people. I mean, definitely your experiences will vary, but if other people could feel that, I mean, that's to me that's worth it. But anyway, so I was having fun with that for a while and just kind of like playing and feeling like a really joyful kid. And as I was moving into different positions and stuff like that, I found one that felt very grounding to me. And I was kind of flexing the soles of my feet up like that, and then my hands like in the same position. And I just really felt the energy coming up like through my feet and my legs and coming up through my spine. And around this time, I was also thinking that I felt that my true, like my energy body is actually my true body, because there are some points that that's all I felt. I just felt the energy flow in the chakras. I couldn't really, I didn't have as much of a concept of my actual physical body. So I felt that, our energy bodies are really who we are. And the physical body is just a collection of molecules around the energy body. And so, but I also got the impression especially as I was doing the grounding position, that even though the energy, or excuse me, even though the physical body might not be the true body, it's still an important tool for us, and we need to accept it and respect it and embrace it. And that was particularly true for me as I was doing that grounding pose. I had the brief thought come across my mind that like, oh, me and my thick legs, thicker than all the. I take a dance class, and I'm not heavy in the least. I'm very thin, but I do have somewhat thick legs compared to the other girls. And sometimes I feel a little self-conscious about that. I know it's silly, um, but as I was in that really grounding position, I kind of got the idea that I should be embracing that. I should be embracing my body, and I should be proud of my legs as they are, because it's like I got the analogy of kind of like humans are sort of like we're like trees. Your feet are your roots. That's where the energy from the ground and the earth comes up through. And then your legs are like your trunks. And so it sort of helps funnel the energy up into the rest of your body, and where your torso and your arms would be your branches, and your head and all that would be leaves, and or a part of your branch system and your leaves. And but anyway, it's that was a metaphor that seemed really resonant to me at the moment. And when I got the thought of me being a tree and my legs being these very strong trunks that were helping me to be grounded and helping to energy to move up into my body, then it's like I became really proud of them as they were, and it was kind of silly. I was all like, yeah, got trunks, yeah, my trunks. So so I was kind of riding on that for the rest of the day. But yeah, but like I said, I was feeling really grounded, and as I was moving up the energy into the rest of my body, I could feel it go through the solar plexus and the sacral and the heart and all that. And then I admit, like when I kind of got up to my throat and my head area, wanted to attempt to do some like third eye focusing to see if I could get any sort of interesting mental images. But I really got the impression or the vibe that that's not what was. Oh, there's my kitty in the background. That's George. Um, I really got the impression that that's not what I was there to focus on at that moment. That's not what I was supposed to be doing. It wasn't the right time for that. So I did feel kind of a little bit of a almost like a blockage in through here. Like it was kind of like cut off. Like nope, nope, we're gonna keep it below the the head right now. Keep it below the neck, and then this is, and there was kind of a lot of pressure in here. So I don't know. Maybe I just had sinus pressure. Who knows? But yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if I have another experience like this again, which I'm sure I will definitely go back and have another float experience. It'll be interesting to see if that feeling shifts or changes, or if something different happens and I move up into the upper chakras as opposed to the middle to lower. Anyway, so I'm feeling grounded. I'm feeling very joyful. I'm feeling happy, and I kind of like let go and start to. I notice that there's still a couple of points in my shoulders that were very tight. So I moved around to kind of let those open up a little bit, and I did have a very interesting feeling in the trapezius muscles, or the muscles that are in your shoulder blades. And when you look at them, like when you look at a picture of how your muscles are, they kind of look almost like inverted wings because of the way they just sort of spread out in these like triangular shapes. And as I was working on letting the that area in my back relax, I really did kind of get a feeling like they were like kind of like wings sprouting out from my back. Not that I felt like thought I actually had wings or something, but I got the feeling of like, or I got the idea that we hold tension in that area of our back a lot because there's a lot of situations that we're in with work or with family life or with home life where we feel that we really have to sort of limit our own personal freedom. Like we're constantly putting limits on ourselves. Like we have to follow this set of rules. We have to do these things to get this outcome. You know, we have to have responsibilities. We have other people to answer to. And I think sometimes we can get caught up in that, and that's why a lot of the tension holds there, especially if you feel like you're really responsible for other people, or if you feel like you're really responsible to a lot of other people for a lot of things. I think that's why that gets super tight because it's sort of um, it's almost like you're limiting that feeling of freedom. And because, like I said, when I felt that start to open up, I really felt like a freeness, like just kind of come through, like just sort of like that joy that I was feeling should just be, you know, I should just like let that out and let that be free and just spread that to other people. So, um, yeah, I mean, and at that point, yes, they knocked on the door again, and I knocked on the tank, so like that way they knew that I could hear that time was up. So, and when I sat back up to open the door of the chamber, I got that disoriented feeling again, like I had when I first got into the tank. Because again, when you're sitting up, you've got no frame of reference. It's nothing around you can tell you where you are. And oh, one more interesting thing. I was having the experience that I couldn't tell when my eyes were closed or when they were open. Like I would close my eyes, and then they would slowly open up again, but I wasn't aware that they were open until I blinked. Because you blink when your eyes are open. And it's like I didn't know my eyes were open until I blinked. And that was kind of the funniest thing. It's just like I was like, okay, and it's like open, it's like blink, oh wait, oh my gosh, my eyes are open. So that was interesting. But yeah, so I got up, got out of the tank, and when I got out, I was those feelings of joy and groundedness really stuck with me. I was feeling very grounded, very rooted into the earth, and I just had this like absolute like pouring out of my heart joy that was just I was riding high on that for the rest of the day. And I've got to say it felt really good. I just had this big smile on my face, and then I got back into the shower area to rinse off all the salt and stuff like that, because like I said, it's a really high concentration of salt. And I did have like for a split second, I had to sort of like readjust to my body, like get back in the left brain there, because I caught a glimpse of my hand as I was turning on the shower, and for a split second I'm like, huh, that's cool looking. Oh wait, that's my hand, So like I said, it was only a really brief millisecond, but it was still interesting. So overall, it was a really cool experience. I would definitely recommend it to other people. For nothing else, then you really come out very relaxed, and it's a good way to sort of let loose with any sort of tension you have. I'll put in the notes below a link to the spa that I went to, um, and it's in Delray Beach. It's the DU20 Holistic Oasis Spa, and the staff there is absolutely great. and the facilities were amazing. And if you're in that area of Delray Beach or South Florida, I would definitely recommend checking them out. And yeah, so I'll also post a picture of what the tank looked like because I did take a picture. It sort of looks like a giant gold walk-in refrigerator, but um, but yeah, overall, like I said, I highly recommend this experience to other people, and very very yeah, very interesting. So anyway, thank you for watching, and you all enjoy the rest of your night.